Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Yeah. Running back nation. Sixers, sickos. It is a beautiful Thursday, noontime. We'll do a quick lunchtime live here. A couple of things I want to talk about. If you're watching this live, close out the chat one time and hit the like button for me. If you're watching this on replay, hit the like button for me one time. Help push this through the YouTube algorithm. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Be active in the chat. What's up, everybody? NZ for 3. The only guy Maury knows in this draft is Bronny. You're probably right, man. You're probably right, but let's go look at it anyway. But first, this is brought to you by BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Yes, sir. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. Boston Celtics versus Dallas Mavericks. Here's the odds on BetUS for Finals MVP. Jason Tatum is actually a minus 115 to be Finals MVP. You know how I feel about Jason Tatum. I wouldn't bet on that. Plus 210 Luka Doncic? I might go bet on that. Right now, you can get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000 and 10% gambler's insurance over on BetUS. Click the link in my description. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. All right, let's do it, man. So the other day, we looked at Tristan da Silva, and I liked him as a potential prospect. There's only a couple of players that I think the Sixers could draft, and it's only going to happen, again, if Daryl Morey finds himself in a bind, finds himself in a predicament and tries to trade away the pick and doesn't succeed. He would then have to make a panic draft move. The last time he did that, he drafted Jaden Springer. So it doesn't always work out with Daryl Morey making a panic draft move. But if he does get in that situation and he does have to make that panic draft move, there's a couple of guys that could fill the Sixers' needs right off the bat. Now, I like Da Silva because he's about to be 23, a little bit more experience, probably a little bit more NBA ready. But the guy we're talking about today is Kel'el Ware. I believe he's 20 years old. But when you look at the size and skill set, you could say if Nick Nurse is free of whatever chains he was held in Josh Harris's basement with and is actually permitted to play young players. Now, this is what people have been telling me. It wasn't Nick Nurse's fault. Although Toronto Raptors fans are like, I told you so. Sixers fans, wasn't Nick Nurse's fault. He was forced to play certain guys by ownership. So maybe if he's free of that this upcoming season, he would play a rookie at backup center. Before we talk about Kel'el Ware, I want to say this. Paul Reed was completely unplayable in the playoffs. Does that mean Kel'el Ware will be playable in the playoffs as a backup center? I don't know. But you got to look at who we just talked about, Dallas Mavericks. They got a rookie backup center that was a big contributor to them getting all the way to the NBA Finals. So as much as ownership, Daryl Morey, probably Nick Nurse have an obsession with older veterans, it would be nice for them to decide to do what the rest of the NBA is doing, you know. So Kel'el Ware, man, is one of the most intriguing developmental bigs in the draft. If the Sixers are looking for a developmental big, they're calling him, Indiana's Kel'el Ware is as skilled and athletically gifted as they come. This word developmental makes me a little bit nervous because the last player the Sixers developed into anything was nobody. You can go to nobody.com to find the answer to that. They are maybe the worst development staff in the history of all of sports. 0 players develop under the 76ers. Don't give me Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey would have developed it on his own because that's just what kind of player he is. So as far as players that you're looking at that say he needs time to develop or he needs these things and he can, that makes me nervous because they can't develop anybody. Actually, what's the opposite of development? You know, whatever the word is that means undevelop. You know, a player goes backwards, gets worse at the things they're bad at. That's what the Sixers do. You know, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, etc. But maybe we could just lie to ourselves and say the tides are going to change and good things are going to happen. So let's look at Kel'el Ware, okay? And could he be a potential backup center as a rookie for the Philadelphia 76ers? Or they do draft him as a developmental project because they get in a position where they failed to trade the draft pick for anybody and they just have to draft. You know, like I said, Jaden Springer, it's not like he was expected to start. He was a development, and 17 years later, he still couldn't get on the floor. Before the 2024 draft, we'll take an in-depth look at different prospects here at Liberty Ballers. Okay, shout out to Liberty Ballers. Kel'el Ware was a top 10 recruit coming out of high school and committed to Oregon. After a tough season with the Ducks, he transferred to Indiana and showed off the awesome athletic gifts and natural skill that make him one of the most intriguing developmental bigs in the draft. His 2023-24 stats, 30 games, 32.2 minutes, 15.9 points, 9.9 rebounds per game, 1.9 blocks, 58% from the field, 42.5% from 3. That is intriguing. They're right. I would say Indiana sophomore center, 6'11", give him the 0.75. You could just say 7 feet, right? 230 pounds, 20 years old, born in North Little Rock, Arkansas. The first thing that intrigues me is 6'11", 7 feet tall. I like that a lot. Outside of Joel Embiid, when's the last time the Sixers had a 7-footer on their roster? You know, Mo Bamba doesn't count because he doesn't exist. He's not real. It seems like every time Joel Embiid goes to the bench for the past couple of seasons, we have a guy who is, in NBA standards, I probably can't say that word, a little person, we'll say. I was going to go with the M word. I'm not sure. But, you know, we end up playing Montrezl Harrell at center. My God, there was, Doc Rivers was playing PJ Tucker at center for crying out loud for some reason. Paul George is 6'9". I guess DeAndre Jordan was a 7-footer who then went to where? Denver, and actually contributed, which is, again, just wild. That players look terrible when they put on a Sixers jersey, and then they go back and turn into themselves again when they leave. I guess Dwight Howard, he's 6'11". So it's been a couple years since the Sixers have had a backup center who's actually an NBA 7-footer. So that's intriguing. The other thing is 9.9 rebounds per game. I would say the biggest issue when Joel Embiid leaves the floor, first of all, defense. You know, you had Mo Bamba out there who looks like one of those inflatable things outside of a car dealership when he's trying to play defense. You had Paul Reed out there who we thought was a solid defender for a couple of years and just completely became unplayable. So 9.9, I mean, defense is the first thing, but rebounding is another major issue that this team has had for a million years. And if you really look at the past couple of playoff series that they lost, you could throw everything out the window and just point to the rebound margin. You know, they got absolutely murdered on the rebounds by the New York Knicks. Isaiah Hartenstein, guys like that who just have a motor that doesn't stop. Although we thought Paul Reed was that guy, he actually, it's still, I don't want to keep harping on it, but it's crazy how Paul Reed just became terrible so fast. But that's just what happens when you wear a Sixers uniform. So I like his rebounding numbers. Of course, take it with a grain of salt. It's college basketball. Most of the guys he's grabbing boards over are not NBA talent. But 9.9 boards a game in 32 minutes a game. I like that. And, you know, maybe he could be a solid rebounder off the bench in the NBA. 1.5 assists ain't bad for a center. 1.9 blocks. You know, that's an intriguing number also. That now you can look at a guy like Mo Bamba and say blocks per game doesn't mean you can actually play defense. You know, that's one thing that I love to bring up when people argue whoever. What do you mean he's a terrible defender? He had 2.5 blocks per game, like Rudy Gobert is always voted Defensive Player of the Year, and then he gets exposed in the playoffs because, like, when it comes to actually staying in front of your man or rotating or being quick enough to rotate and be in the right position, he's just too slow. So a guy like Kel'el Ware could have weak side blocks and things like that equal 1.9 blocks per game, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's actually a good defender. But either way, if you're just taking it at face value, a 7-footer who 10 rebounds a game, 2 blocks a game in college, I like those numbers. 60% from the field, which means most of his scoring is probably dunks. 42.5% from 3. I'm interested in that a lot. That's a crazy number for a 7-footer. And if that's a number that is out of context also, then whatever. But if that's a number that's in context, that's huge for his, you know, coming into the league and becoming something, because you got to be able to shoot threes in today's NBA. And 42.5% from 3 for a 7-footer is a damn good number. 107 people in here. Hit the like button for me one time. What y'all saying in the chat? 42.5 on like 1.89 attempts, so I really don't know if he can shoot from 3, but he's a lob threat. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect a player like that to have like 5 or 6 3-point attempts per game. But 2 attempts per game is still decent for a center. That's still pretty solid percentage for a center shooting 2 threes a game. You know, because most centers, even if they're only shooting 2 threes a game, would go like 5, 6, 7 games where they're not hitting one, and that percentage wouldn't be 42.5. So I think at two attempts per game, 42.5 for a center is still a pretty good number for a center. And, you know, of course, we're calling him developmental, so maybe he could turn that into a higher number in the NBA. Let's just go right over to YouTube, since I don't know much about Kel'el Ware, and we will watch some Kel'el Ware highlights, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, man. What do you think about that? What you think about that? Thanks for hanging out with me today, man. It's a beautiful Thursday. And we're getting closer and closer to the NBA draft. We're getting closer and closer to things actually happening, you know, that are going to change at least the short-term course of the Sixers franchise. So that's exciting. Here's Kel'el Ware. This looks like it's against Iowa. Well, I mean, that's just wide open, right? Oh, my goodness. Hey. Now, look, there's 7-footers all over the country that could dunk this ball over this guy, probably, who's out of position and is retreating like that. But he cocked it back with one hand. Yeah, bang, let's go. You know, I didn't expect that. That was a fun dunk. That doesn't actually mean that he can, you know, play in the NBA, but that was a fun dunk. Let's see if we can find some highlights where he can actually play in the NBA. Being a lob threat is good too, especially, you know, Tyrese Maxey handling the ball. I think Maxey became a better lob thrower this past season. And Cameron Payne coming off the bench. If they re-sign Kyle Lowry had Mo Bamba out here catching lobs. Kyle Lowry's a great lob threat, even though I don't want him to re-sign him because he's 70 years old. It is what it is. They're probably going to do it. So him being a lob threat could be useful also. These were both pretty much wide open dunks so far, so we haven't really seen anything that would tell us anything yet. There's a nice roll to the rim. Terrible defense. Not sure why they're double teaming that guy. Another lob. Bang. All right, so first 3 highlights are absolutely wide open dunks. Not much useful film right now. Does he have a little bit of a handle? Is he running the floor right here? Okay, left hand. Almost lost it. Back to the right hand. Little step through. Dunk. Okay, you got an and 1. Can't hate on that. A lob from an inbound. Nice little double seal from the number 2 and number 5 right there. Well, hey, being a 7-footer and actually being in control of your body is, I guess we got to look at it like when the Sixers were up Schitt's Creek without a paddle and they couldn't play Paul Reed and they were trying to play Mo Bamba a little bit. Mo Bamba's a 7-footer who's the slowest person I've ever seen in my life and has no control over his body. So if you're just looking at it like that and saying, is Kel'el Ware right now at 20 years old better than Mo Bamba? I think I'm going to go with a yes. Again, maybe we're just looking at a guy dunking over 6'2" finance majors, you know. All right. Are we going to get a highlight that tells me anything yet? Another lob? That dude's not that 34 is not an NBA player, bro. He's not even a college player. How'd he get out there? Here's running the floor. They're jogging back. A little reverse layup. Nice little putback there over basically nobody. What am I getting from this? I don't think I'm getting anything much yet. There's a 3-point shot. Okay. Oh, it rimmed out and rimmed back in. All right. Here he is on the block. Let's see if he's got any offensive post moves. Let's see what you got. Left hand dribble, spin, fadeaway jumper. Okay. I like that. I like that. Dribble, spin, fadeaway jumper. I like that. That was good defense, too. Number 5 got his ass kicked under the rim, man. No call. No love for him. So he definitely has some skills. Some raw skills. Could he contribute to an NBA team right now? That's a tough finish right there. That's a real tough finish. It's hard to say, but again, when you look at a player like Derek Lively and what he's doing in the playoffs, I guess you could say he could, but the argument also stands that that's just Luka Doncic making somebody really good. And you could probably put any 7-foot lob threat on a team with Luka Doncic, and he would look like Derek Lively. Seal in the paint. Fade away. Somebody in the chat said they're comparing him to Miles Turner and Mo Bamba. DJ, thoughts on Zach Edey? I'll definitely do another episode on Zach Edey for sure. I got to stretch this out, man. I got to make content all off season, bro. If I give it all to you right now, I got nothing to talk about tomorrow. I actually do think Mo Bamba is a pretty good comparison for Kel'el Ware. Because if you just imagine Mo Bamba in these situations against college defenses, he could probably do all these things. He definitely has more speed than Mo Bamba. A little bit more body control. But I'm not seeing anything, I don't think, that tells me he would contribute in the NBA right now. Yeah, maybe he would, man. Maybe he would. He does have a lot of body control as a 7-footer. Not that you would need him to do anything really offensively. You would need him to just come in the game for 10 minutes, you know, and a little fake spin running hook. Okay. He does have a little bit of an offensive game, man. I like it. Here he is for 3. Splash. Are we going to get a defensive highlight? Can I see him? Can I see him on defense? I know nothing about his defense. And And that's really what the Sixers are looking for as from a backup center is rebounding and defense. We don't really need a guy that can go out there and score like this. But I guess it's never a bad thing to have a guy that can go out and score like this, right? He is definitely a lob threat, though. I agree with you guys. Let's find a draft profile, maybe look at his weaknesses. Because if he's not known as a good defender, then I probably wouldn't really be that interested. Weaknesses. The biggest concerns for Ware are his motor, rawness, and sample size on his jumper. Positional fit. Ware fits in the mold of a modern rim-running big, but has the potential to be much more. His ability to stretch the floor paired with his scoring touch. He will likely be relegated to a backup role to start his career, but all the necessary tools to become a starting caliber NBA center. I agree with that. But I'm not really seeing anything on his defensive abilities except for 1.9 blocks per game, which again, Mo Bamba can't defend my 7-year-old, and he has 2 blocks, pretty easily. They're projecting him to go at 17 to the Pelicans, so, he could be on the board at 16 to the Sixers. So we will see what happens there. Shout out to everybody hanging out with me. Hit the like button one time. Thank you, Ignacio Campos, for subscribing to the channel. Lively's good on defense. That's why he gets to play. Exactly. I would rather get another ball creator than a center just because how slow they develop unless they are great defensively. Yeah, but Rail, who... Is Nick Nurse going to play a rookie guard out there? In the play... We got to look at it in the playoffs. In the playoffs, is he going to play a rookie guard in the playoffs? That's the question that we all have to ask ourselves when we're talking about any of these players. Is will they get playing time for the 76ers in the playoffs? I liked what Jeff Doughton Jr. did last season coming out of the G League. Nick Nurse was playing him a lot in the regular season when Kyle Lowry was hurt or ran out of gas or games without Maxey, etc. And he got zip. He got 0 run in the playoffs. Kyle Lowry back-to-back goose eggs, completely ran out of gas, played all the minutes, all the backup point guard minutes in Game 5 and Game 6, and the Sixers lost the series. So, if Nurse wouldn't even play the guy that he literally signed because he played for him in Toronto and he liked him, and he played him a lot in the regular season, if Nurse wouldn't even play him in the playoffs, he ain't going to play a rookie ball handler in the playoffs. I don't see it. At number 16, I would like for them to trade for one of them. That's for sure. I would like for them to trade the pick, bringing in Malcolm Brogdon, somebody like that. That would be that'd be a lot better than trying to find a player in the draft that is a ball handler. You know what I'm saying? I guess my take on Kel'el Ware is, I think I agree with this from what is this, Liberty Ballers, that he has a potential to be a starting NBA center. He could be a solid backup as a rookie. I think he could be a solid backup as a rookie, but again, I'm not seeing anything about his defensive abilities. And if the Sixers were looking for a center in the draft to back up Embiid, the number 1 and number 2 attributes they would be looking for is defense and rebounding, not a three-point shooter and a guy that has an offensive skill set. So I guess my take on Kel'el Ware, I know a lot of you guys like him and a lot of you guys have been hitting me up about him and say, talk about Kel'el Ware. I don't think this is the guy that the Sixers should be drafting at number 16 if they do end up drafting someone at number 16. There's my take on that. Nick Nurse is questionable. I completely agree. Nick Nurse is not off the hook. I know we hated Doc Rivers so much, but Nick Nurse, man, he pissed me off last year. So, we'll see what he does this upcoming season, but his rotations in the playoffs were not, I don't care what anybody says, they were ridiculous. Couple more things I want to talk about before I get out of here, man. People are now starting to chatter about Donovan Mitchell and the possibility of him leaving the Cavs and the possibility of the Sixers being interested in a Donovan Mitchell trade. Give me your thoughts in the chat. Give me your thoughts in the comments about a potential Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey pairing. Now, first of all, if there's no way the Cavs let Donovan Mitchell go. There's a little bit of a thing between Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and it's rumored that Garland could request a trade because he doesn't like the fit with Donovan Mitchell. That's a red flag for me right off the bat, because what does that say about the potential fit with Tyrese Maxey? Darius Garland, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like just from watching it, Darius Garland always plays better when Donovan Mitchell isn't on the floor. It seems like Darius Garland disappears when Donovan Mitchell's really cooking, and they never found the chemistry to both be at their best when they needed to be, especially in that playoff series, the last playoff series. So I could see Darius Garland requesting a trade. Donovan Mitchell has 2 years left on a $163 million contract, and he's an NBA superstar. He's 27 years old. There's no reason for the Cleveland Cavaliers to choose Darius Garland over him. I mean, that would be absolutely insane. The only way Donovan Mitchell leaves is if Donovan Mitchell says, I want to leave. And if that would happen, what it would take to get him is probably way too much for the Sixers to pull off. They do have 5 tradable first-round picks, but I don't think you would want to go all in with all of your assets on a player who's a questionable fit. You know what I'm saying? If Donovan Mitchell was more of a ball-handling facilitator at an elite level, then I'd be like, go all in. He fits perfectly next to Tyrese Maxey. You know, he'll be setting him up. He'll be running the offense. They'll be sharing the ball handling capabilities. But to me, Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Maxey, too similar in play styles, and I don't think it would mesh well. If you're going to put a point guard on the floor with Tyrese Maxey, this is why Kyle Lowry worked out a lot when he played alongside Tyrese. Or a name I always throw out there, Malcolm Brogdon. I even think Tyrese Halliburton would have been a great fit with Tyrese Maxey. More of a pass-first point guard is what Tyrese Maxey needs on the floor with him to not only not take the ball out of his hands and his offense suffer, but to actually even elevate him farther and put him in more positions to score. So I don't see it from a fit standpoint, and I wouldn't want to throw all those assets at Donovan Mitchell to pair him with Tyrese Maxey. That's my take on that. I guess we'll read the article. Donovan Mitchell has a $163 million contract, 2 years remaining. Make or break summer for the Cavs. They can't sign Mitchell to an extension. They can be forced to, if they can't sign him to an extension, they could be forced to trade him rather than lose him for nothing. Here's what Kendrick Perkins says about Donovan Mitchell, which I don't know why we're quoting Kendrick Perkins of all people, but he ain't got no choice. Cleveland made the business decision. It was either J.B. Bickerstaff or Donovan Mitchell gone. Bickerstaff is gone, so here's my thing. Donovan Mitchell has no choice. Cleveland is showing that they're committed to you. They got rid of Bickerstaff. They are committed, so what you going to do, you're going to take the money. I mean, that doesn't really mean much. He still could choose to request a trade, so I don't really know what Kendrick Perkins is saying. Just because they fired the coach and you have this money left doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean you have to stay, but I don't think I see Donovan Mitchell requesting a trade. I'm not sure, man. You look at the Cavs and it's like the Cavs always look like they have a deep roster. They always look like every season I feel like we're like the Cavs are the real deal this year. The Cavs are no joke. The Cavs this, the Cavs that, and then the playoffs come around and they're just the Cavs again. The Cavaliers are literally the 76ers. Every year. Oh, we're cooking. Oh, we're the highest rated offense in the league. Oh, we're this, we're that, we're this, we're that, we're this, we're that. 50, 55 games, 55 wins. Doesn't matter if we go 82-0. Playoffs start, Sixers become the Sixers. That's kind of how I feel about the Cavs. So I guess if Donovan Mitchell would just get tired of it and tired of being in Cleveland and want to be somewhere else, I could see it. But I guess I don't really see it because they're going to offer him a big-time extension. It's the Cavs' best option to sell tickets at the end of the day. If they're not going to choose Darius Garland over him, I don't see Donovan Mitchell leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I don't really like the fit with Tyrese Maxey. So there's my take on that. What y'all think, man? I like the lineup of Maxey, SG, Bridges, Ingram, and Embiid. SG. Who the hell's SG? Does that just mean shooting guard? Bridges, Ingram. How are you going to get Bridges and Ingram? I mean, I like the lineup of Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Ben Wallace, and Kevin Garnett. I like that lineup. I don't know how you get Ingram and Bridges. Bridges is going to cost at least 3 firsts, I feel like. Ingram is going to cost, at 26 years old, at least 2 firsts, I feel like. Probably 3. Maybe. The Sixers don't have that much. And those teams are going to want like some young players in return. Who's young and of value on the Sixers that's up for a trade? I don't think there's any way the Sixers get Mikal Bridges and Brandon Ingram on this. I don't think that's possible. I love marketing perfect fit with Joel and Maxey. $17 million. Is it possible? No, it's not, because Danny Ainge does not get fleeced. Danny Ainge does the fleecing. Danny Ainge is absolutely not going to trade Lauri Markkanen for anything less than way more than the Sixers have to offer. He even said out loud, literally a couple of months ago, that it's going to take an offer that blows him away for him to trade Lauri Markkanen. And I think even more recently, he said like 5 firsts and a young potential star. The Sixers don't have that. You know. The Sixers don't have that. Yeah, Bridges isn't worth what the Nets are trying to ask for him. The Nets probably will trade him. I think I'm gonna predict that the Nets do trade Mikal Bridges, because that came out a little while ago of the owner finally saying like we need to rebuild, or we need to start looking towards the future and things like that, and success over longevity. But I don't feel like it's realistic for the Sixers, man. Then again, I don't know what is realistic for the Sixers. Daryl Morey's a lot of pressure on him this offseason, but like, I don't feel good about it. Should I? Should I feel good about the Sixers' chances of actually landing something that makes them better this offseason? How do y'all feel in the chat, man? Let me know. Hit me up. Do you feel good about this offseason and all of the assets that Daryl Morey has, and the chances of something good actually happening? Do you feel good about it? Yes or no? Trade this year's draft pick for Clint Capella. I don't know. I don't think Clint Capella makes you much better than you were last season. Last time we went star hunting, we landed Al Horford. Last time we went star hunting, we landed Al Horford on $100 million contract, and he looked totally cooked. And then Daryl Morey traded him to OKC. OKC didn't even play him. People thought he was going to retire. And then he went back to Boston and had a new, just revived the end of his career and had a little bit of a resurgence. It's just Al Horford and Boston are two in the same. But yeah, we definitely haven't succeeded. Your opinion is bogus. You wanted to run it back with Ben Simmons. Isn't that how you started this channel? Skank Hunt 42. You know what, Skank Hunt? I got time today. While you take a break from hunting skanks to type in the chat here. Your opinion is bogus. You wanted to run it back with Ben Simmons. Isn't that how you started this channel? Yeah. That was in 2019 skank hunt. That was 5 years ago. Skank hunt. Here's the thing about the internet. You're not allowed to change the way you feel about anything forever. If you say something, 5 years later, you must feel that exact same way about what you said. It was 5 years ago, bro. I mean, that's just dumb. I'm not even going to waste any more time on that. Me too. Love you, bud. You're good, but you know I'm right. Bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here, bro. There's nothing I hate more than that, bro. There's nothing I hate more than that, bro. Bro, there's nothing I hate more than that, dude. There's nothing I hate more than people that come on the internet and completely come at somebody with an insult. And then you reply and they're like, haha, love you. But it's no, bro. What are you talking about? Love you too, bud. It's a dumbass thing to say. Your opinion sucks. I got one more thing to talk about. But first we're gonna get Skank Hunt out of here because he sucks. There you go. All right. So there was a debate on listen, I timed you out for 30 minutes, you know. But next time, bro, you know, be respectful. What kind of dumbass comment is that? Insult somebody and then be like, haha, it's all good. No, it's not all good. Anyway. Who does that? Your opinion is bogus. You wanted to run it back with Ben Simmons. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's all good. Love you, bud. What? Let's react to this, man. Let's react to Gilbert Arenas, because why the hell not? There was a debate on Gilbert Arenas' podcast about Allen Iverson versus Steph Curry and who the best is. This is an easy answer for me. I don't like to compare eras. I don't like to compare past players to new players. Let me put it this way before I hit play on this. When you talk about somebody like Allen Iverson versus somebody like Steph Curry, right? Does a 2019 Tesla have more advancements than a 1995 Mustang GT? Yes. Does that make it a better car? I mean, me personally, I'm taking the old Mustang GT in a 5-speed and I'm ripping down the street, leaving marks all over the road, because that'd be a blast. You know what I mean? But people would prefer a new Tesla because they can probably just think to open the door and the thing drives itself, whatever else. You can't compare those two things. You can't compare a player from the late 90s, early 2000s to a new age player. And if they're going to compare their skill sets or anybody throws out numbers, I'm out of this conversation, because you can't do that. Players in the late 90s were not shooting threes like they're shooting them right now. Players weren't coming up as they were learning and developing in high school and college. They weren't shooting threes the way they're shooting them right now. So it's just a totally different game. You're comparing, you're just comparing two players in two totally different games, and I don't really like it. But let's hear what they say, man. Let's go ahead and hear what they say just for fun. Y'all know how I feel about Allen Iverson. He's the damn GOAT. He's pound for pound the damn GOAT. But let's listen to it, man.
So you sub AI into Steph Curry's team. Does he win 4 championships and he do all the shit?
Hell no, he don't. No, he don't.
No, he don't.
No, he don't. No.
Wait, hold on.
If you put AI on Steph Curry's team, does he win 4 championships? If Allen Iverson had Draymond Green and Klay Thompson in their prime, and that bench on the 2016 team that probably could have went deep into the playoffs on its own. Andre Iguodala. Yeah. Come on, man. Allen Iverson took Aaron McKee to the NBA Finals. And you're telling me you give him Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and all those guys, and he doesn't get... Come on, man. Come on.
I don't know.
So the question is, does Steph Curry average 28 a game without the cast that he has?
Oh, that's a good question, too, because in the heyday of that Warriors team, you couldn't double Steph. You couldn't leave Klay. On a team where you don't have another elite shooter to pass the ball to, Steph could get doubled and tripled a lot more. And he probably doesn't average 28 a game without those guys. It's a team game. But that again, that has nothing to do with the comparison between the two.
All the screen set and all that shit.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah, because his shooting, his skill set, you create the offense for him anyway. So the dominant players are going to be dominant.
AI can move around.
They're gonna be dominant.
AI can move around, Brandon.
Yeah, he can put him in the same. Put him in the same category as Steph Curry.
I don't think I've ever heard Brandon Jennings have a take out loud at all, so I'm not really prepared for the argument he's about to try to make.
Double down on
But what I'm saying is,
No, let's double down. You know what I'm saying is, you the one said. You compared him to Steph Curry? Yes.
He compared to Steph Curry.
He didn't have the guard. He didn't have the guard.
AI can move around.
He didn't have the guard him.
Compared to.
All right, let's learn how to do a podcast here, and let's take turns talking so we can hear what you guys are saying, all right?
Steph Curry. Allen Iverson.
Yes. You say it loud as you want.
No.
Say it as loud as you want.
Rookie of the year. Number one pick.
He cannot.
Number one pick.
I don't know what. The problem is.
Woo!
The problem is
that Steph Curry brand is tough over there.
No, I like it. I love AI, but he can't Steph.
Not because.
What's the argument? Are you going to give me a reason? You're just going to say you can't fuck with Steph. Well, are you going to give us a reason?
You never because you never played against him. You don't know what it was.
Hey, there you go. Tell him, Gil. Tell him, Gil.
Blur.
Right? You don't know what it. You don't know what it was. Like he himself demanded all five people.
You could tell people that watched Allen Iverson and people that didn't watch Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson's lateral quickness was the most unbelievable thing the NBA's ever seen. He would go from the left elbow to the right elbow in a blink of an eye, bro. He was in his prime, completely unguardable.
This guy.
No, he doesn't.
So this guy.
No, he's
right
never
when he
been.
step past half court. He demands every.
No, he's never been quadruple teamed.
When he stepped past half court, everybody's guarding him.
Nah, bro. That's how the 2016 Warriors dominated. They had other players that you couldn't leave open. That's why they were so hard to stop.
Who?
Steph Curry. What are you talking about? You're not just gonna let Steph Curry walk past half with the ball. You're gonna have to guard him.
Yeah, one. I don't think anybody said nobody's guarding him.
You switched out on.
Okay, another guy. It's five guys. It's five guys watching one guy.
No one switched on to Allen Iverson.
You didn't have to. For what?
No, we
didn't have to.
You got to switch on Steph.
We didn't. No.
What do you mean you didn't?
We didn't switch. No one was that fucking stupid.
Bro, if you switched a center onto Allen Iverson, he would have blew to the rim so quick.
Brandon,
because the thing about Steph is,
what are y'all talking about?
Steph wasn't fast like Allen Iverson.
Doesn't matter.
Thank you. It does matter.
You can switch onto him, and he's going to try to bop you. Allen Iverson, you had to double or triple team. If he was there, we don't give a fuck who you were. Mm-hmm. You're over there, cool. We're here.
We watching.
Right? If Klay was with Allen Iverson, Klay would average 30.
Easy.
Because we did not give two shits about Klay at that point.
But you would have to. That's how the Warriors were so good.
Because the dude himself was so dominant.
That it didn't win to no ring.
And so, do you know what his team looked like?
That's such a dumb argument, man. But he didn't win no rings. All right, look, if Steph Curry was on a team with Eric Snow, Aaron McKee, Tyrone Hill, Todd McCullough, and Dikembe Mutombo, would he have the rings that he has? AI turning Curry's ankles into curry food. And I love Steph Curry, and I'm not arguing that one's better than the other, but if you're going to argue that one's better than the other, it's just ridiculous, especially trying to say that Steph is that much better than AI was.
That it didn't win to no ring.
And so, do you know what his team looked like?
No.
I don't
give a fuck.
No.
You should.
Let me.
See, I like podcasts that are just for entertainment, but you know, when I'm listening and I'm just hearing people say things and have absolutely not a single thing or fact or reason that they can put out there for, like, that's not debating. That's just saying things. You know, even Gilbert Arenas in this argument is bringing up facts and making points to support his argument. Who is Brandon Jennings, bro? I remember him as a player. Why is he on the show? He's just to say things so they can yell at him because people like to hear arguing, I guess. So he's like the Skip Bayless of the Gilbert Arenas show. That's pretty impressive. But at least attempt to back up your argument. You didn't give us anything.
No. Hold on. Hold on.
What do you mean? Who was playing in the league?
No, hold on.
Kobe,
Well,
Shaq,
Stop disrespecting.
Ray,
It's not disrespecting.
Disrespecting stuff like that is
Tim
crazy.
Duncan. All these niggas was playing in the league.
This dude's going in.
And you know who Steph had to go against? KD, Russ, James Harden, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, a bunch of
what?
Bunch of superstars.
Compared to all the names.
Compared to all the niggas you played against, trash.
Tracy McGrady.
Watch
Vince
out.
Carter.
How the hell is he
all
talking?
they trash?
How the hell is he
they
talking?
All trash?
Talking.
They all Hall of Famers.
These other niggas
They
better.
all.
Okay. I don't think I need to hear any more of this. Brandon Jennings is the worst basketball speaking person. If we're gonna call him a podcaster, Brandon Jennings, he's the worst thing I've ever heard. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And for somebody to make Gilbert Arenas sound like a genius. This is a guy that got basically ejected from the NBA for bringing a bag full of into the locker room. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. You're making him sound like the smart one? By how dumb you are being? That's impressive. This is only a 14-minute clip. I made it 3 minutes in, and I think I'm done. Hey, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We'll be back soon. Hit the like button one time. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. Tell your mom. They hold up. That Gil Arena show, they take turns being stupid. Gil is more consistent than them. I don't understand this Brandon Jennings thing, dude. He's just saying things and not even offering any type of reasoning for what he's saying. But yeah, you can't compare Allen Iverson to Steph Curry. I don't like the comparison, but Allen Iverson was unbelievable for his size, man. He was absolutely unbelievable for his size. I'm out here, man. Y'all have a good one.